All right, hello everybody. I'm just going to do a quick video just to describe my experience of owning and driving as a daily my 1996 Volvo 940 Estate with the 2.3 litre low pressure turbo engine. Run this car for a year, bang on a year actually, and almost to the day. And it's actually the seventh Volvo, old Volvo, classic Volvo I've owned. I've had a few 740s and a 240 and a 940 before this, but this one came up as having done 74,000 miles, couple of owners, really nice condition. And I had to go to Norwich. I live in Dorset, and I had to go all the way to Norwich to pick it up. But it was totally worth it. Just took a gamble on the car. I think I paid £900 for it, which is a steal for one of these in the condition it's in. Got the train to Norwich, went and met the guy, picked the car up, and it's been absolutely brilliant, I must admit. The best of the old Volvos I've owned. It drives really nicely, it's really peppy, loads of power. I would say as a car, as an owning experience compared to a modern car, now I've owned a few modern cars, I don't generally like them, particularly compared to the older cars, because I like to do my own maintenance and stuff. These cars are great, there's loads of room in them. They're a surprisingly kind of ergonomic driving experience, I guess. I'm 6'7" tall, so like I need leg room and headroom. And you know, the leg room is, I suppose, in the front is a little bit less than some of the classic Mercs I've owned in the past, but it's fairly kind of roomy, loads and loads of load space in the back, and having the turbo really helps performance as well. I've owned a few of the naturally aspirated classic Volvos with the red block engine in the past, and I must admit, having the turbo, just that little bit of boost. It's low pressure turbo, it's not high pressure turbo. It's, you know, it makes about 138 brake horse, something like that. But it's just enough. It's peppy when it's empty, and it's actually surprisingly torquey and strong when it's loaded as well. You know, it's pretty good in that regard. So I would normally do about 40,000 miles a year, 35,000 miles a year. I'm a working musician by trade. Obviously with the COVID situation for the last year, I haven't done that many miles in the car, but I've probably done 12,000 in it since I've owned it, and it's just been a joy, really. It's been it's been a really enjoyable car to own. I do all the maintenance on it myself. Oil and filter is a cinch. I use a Shell Helix 10 weight 40, semi-synthetic, and it's use the, if you change the oil filter on one of these, use a MAN filter because they have a non-return valve. MAN are the people who make the OEM ones for Volvo, so they're a good filter. Oil and filter change costs, I think, all in, it takes just under 5 litres of oil, so you're looking at probably 35 quid for oil and filter, and it is dead easy to do yourself. Plugs, HT leads, distributor, all of that stuff I've changed. I put a Volvo exhaust on it as well, priced it up, all the bits from Euro Car Parts for the pattern exhaust, and Volvo were able to do me a whole catback system, you know, in the nice Volvo carry case and all of that for less money. So I went with that. That's been absolutely fine. All kind of book one basic maintenance stuff, recommissioning stuff that you do with a car that's new to you and it's old. Trying to think what else I've done to it. Not a lot, really. Spark plugs, all that kind of stuff. I've basically just put fuel in it and driven it. Yeah, I would say the only downside with these cars is fuel consumption is a little on the harsh side. As long as you don't drive it like a lunatic, you can get probably 34, 35 on a run, maybe 23, 24 around town. You know, but it depends whether you're really like stirring the pot and kind of using the boost all the time. But you know, I think in general, the money that you spend on fuel, you make back in terms of the cheap self-maintenance and the general kind of fact that it's a car that will go on forever. That's the thing. They're so bulletproof, and testament to this is of the 7 classic Volvos I've owned with a red block engine. Between the 7 of them, they had a combined mileage of 1.3 million miles. Some have had a lot of miles, some have had less. This is the least of all. Most of you go to buy, and they've done somewhere between 120 and 200,000 miles. But out of all of those cars, 1.3 million combined miles over the 6 or 7 years I've owned them, I've never ever failed to get to my destination on any journey. They've always got me where I'm going. They've always started in the morning. They've always stopped when I wanted them to. Everything about them is fine. I've never had to spend any serious money getting any of them through an MOT. And I can't recommend them highly enough, to be honest. I love them. People look at them and say, oh, it's a drift car, or oh, it's an old man's car, or this, that, and the other. Everybody has an opinion on them, but generally, they attract a lot of attention. At petrol stations, people come up to you, go, oh, my dad owned one of those, my granddad had one, or like I used to have one, or whatever. They're a really characterful car, a lot more characterful than most modern cars, and the tuning opportunities are huge. I mean, this car is stock, other than putting a pipe across air filter on it just to help it breathe a little better, but that's not really necessary. I mean, they run a little lean anyway, so you don't really need to increase the airflow unless you're turning up the fuel. I just happened to have a pipe across unit that was in the boot of the car when I bought it, so I put it on. But you can do all sorts. You can get a manual boost controller, which you can get from eBay. You need a ball and spring one. Really, if you want to do it properly, manual boost controller and boost gauge for 40 quid, you can get another 50, 60 horsepower out of the car just by fitting that. If you know what you're doing, it's an hour's work, and suddenly the car's much, much quicker. I haven't done that, but I just enjoy driving these stock. I also have a diesel one with the D24 TIC engine, which is a little slower than this, but not much. A little noisier than this, but not much. But it is more economical. I can get 38 to 40 miles per gallon on a run with that. But if you like a retro car and you don't, at the moment these cars aren't fetching stupid money. You can buy them. I paid 900 quid for this. If you know where to look, you can buy them for comparatively little money, and they're just a lot of car. They don't rust. I mean, they were zinc dipped at the factory when they were built, and this car, I can't find any rust on it anywhere. It's a 1996 car. I mean, it's 25 years old now, and I've been all over it, and there is no rust, structural rust anywhere on the car, which is insane. I keep it outside up my drive, and I've had it for a year, and there's been no bubbles, there's been no deterioration of anything. Remarkable, really. So I think, in summary, I think if you want a car that's built to, outlast the cockroaches in the nuclear holocaust, then you want something that's potentially quick. If you want it to be loads of space, comfortable, insurance is cheap as chips. Easy to maintain, cheap to maintain. Volvo 940, great choice. Get them now before they start going crazy in value. There's a few chances on eBay who are, dealers or whatever, who are knocking them out for 5-6 grand, thinking that they're worth that. But the same cars sit there and don't get bought. So there's definitely bargains to be had. I drive my two are estates, but the saloon is actually, you don't need the extra load space. The saloon's a fantastic car. You can get a 940 saloon or even a 960 saloon with a 3-litre 6-cylinder engine, which are actually astonishingly fast. They make over 200 horsepower, 204 I think are the published figures for the 960 with the 3-litre engine. 960 saloon, 940 saloon, you can get them for next to nothing, 500-600 quid, and they're a great car, great tow car. If you get a later one with the M90 gearbox, they're 940 Mark II. The M90 gearbox is wonderful. The ratios are great. It's much better than the M47 and M46 boxes that went before it. although they were pretty good as well. But you know, the M90 is a much more modern gearbox, so it's well worth looking at, well worth thinking about if you're considering a retro kind of car. I will do a little bit of a cash up sort of thing on my diesel estate at some point, but it's you know, it's more of the same basically, but with a VW 6-cylinder 2.4 litre diesel up in it. But anyway, Volvo 960 Estate after a year, can't recommend it highly enough, and it's definitely worth your consideration.